Hey Nikki, we're going to try and answer some of these questions in this little quick video. First thing I want to look at is when you're talking about slope and you had get the writing here. What's going on? Okay, I think we're back to recording. Let me see. Yes, we are. Okay, so your first thing was talking about slope, and you said if you had A is the point 1 and 6, and B is the point -5 and 2. You mentioned that the change in y over the change in x, which is true. That's sometimes called delta y over delta x. Now the one mistake you made, you did your first one right, which was 6 minus 2. So, we just say this is x1, y1, this is x2, y2. So you said 6 minus 2, which is correct, over 1 minus, but here you left out this negative. So it's actually 1 minus a -5. So if we simplify that, we get 4 on the top. On the bottom, we get 1 plus 6. And you got the right answer, but you didn't put this negative in here. So if you'd have actually gotten a negative number if you would have gone 1 minus 5. So in your first question, you did get the slope, and the slope is 2 over 3. So it means you go up 2 and over 3. You don't figure out the slope of the line. Okay, so let's see. That's that. So that is how you find slope, and that's simply y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you got the right answer, and yes, it's 2/3. So I'm going to pause this for a minute. Okay, this one, I'm not certain if here, and the one thing you'd asked about the power of 2, I don't know if you were talking about this here in this distance formula. I'm not 100% certain. Said I need my memory refreshed on, is the power like to the power of the 2 on the side of the number. So, and then in your example, let's say I had 8, and then I had to the power of. So if you had 8, oops, it's about 8. 8 to the power of 2, that's simply 8 times 8, which is 64. That simply means you're squaring that. So if you were talking about this, you'd be first, you would do what's inside the parentheses, then you would square that number. I don't know if that answered that question. I hope so. I think it might have. Pause this again. Okay, here's one that is a working example of one of your questions. I think naming coordinates of special figures, or naming the, in this example it says a quadrilateral has vertices of, and it gives us these points. What special quadrilateral is formed by connecting the midpoints of the sides? So I'm not sure if this is one that you had a problem with, but let's just do this example anyway. So I got some graph paper. I'm just going to plot these points. So I've got the point 2, 2 right there. Got the point 2, -2 right there. I've got the point -1, -2, which is right here. And I've got the point -1, 2, which is here. I'm going to just draw our quadrilateral first. Not doing a very good job, am I? Then it says what special quadrilateral is formed by connecting the midpoints of the sides. So change colors here. Connect the midpoints. Of course here, midpoint's going to be here. That's not right. Hold on a second. Let me back that up. Well, in this example, we need to find the midpoints. You could use the midpoint formula because we know all these. I'm going to get some color here. There. So we have all these up here. We could use the midpoint formula, but we also know what the midpoints are. So if we're connecting midpoints, we should be connecting from here to there, down to the next midpoint, which was a really bad line, down to the next midpoint, and to the next midpoint. So what special quadrilateral is formed? Well, that'd be a rectangle in this example. And I find it useful to use graphing paper because if they're really nice and clean like this, I don't have to go through the midpoint formula for each of these points, which you could do because we know the midpoint formula just tells us that it's x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and that gives us our midpoint for the x coordinate, and then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That gives us our y coordinate. So in this example, this of course right here is the point 2, 2, right? And down here is the point negative 2, negative 2. So that we could do this, use this midpoint formula here, and that would give us the point 2, 0, which is right here. Using this graph paper just makes it nice and easy. And up here, this point is of course the point 2.5, because this 1, 2, 3. So halfway between this 2 and negative 1 is going to be right here. So that point would be the point 2, 1/2. Or sorry, 1/2, 2, 1/2, and 2. Scribble that out. 1/2 and 2. But again, we didn't need to go through that because we can just graph that and recognize this being a rectangle. So let me stop this for a second.